A diplomatic time bomb is ticking, and Europe is about to pull the pin. In a move that could dramatically escalate tensions with Iran, three of Europe's most powerful nations are preparing to take a fateful step at the United Nations. But here's where it gets controversial. They're doing it in the hope it will actually force a peaceful solution, not start a conflict. According to insider reports from four separate diplomats, Britain, France, and Germany, a group known in foreign policy circles as the E3, are expected to initiate the process to reinstate punishing United Nations sanctions on Iran as early as this Thursday. However, and this is the part most people miss, this is being framed as a strategic maneuver, not a final verdict. The diplomats revealed that the E3 secretly hope that within the 30-day window this UN process allows, Tehran will provide such solid, verifiable commitments regarding its nuclear activities that the sanctions can be deferred or even called off entirely. This high-stakes decision comes hot on the heels of a meeting this past Tuesday, where the E3 sat down with Iranian officials in a last-ditch effort to revive diplomatic talks. The urgency is driven by a hard deadline. By mid-October, these European powers will legally lose their ability to snap back the wide-ranging international sanctions that were originally lifted under the landmark 2015 nuclear accord, known as the JCPOA. Think of it like a use-it-or-lose-it clause in a contract. The window to act is closing fast. So why trigger sanctions if the goal is diplomacy? Three European diplomats and one Western official, all speaking anonymously, stated that Tuesday's discussions, while happening, simply didn't produce the concrete, tangible promises from Iran that the E3 needed to see. They felt they had no choice but to start the formal process to maintain their leverage. They're accusing Iran of violating the core terms of the 2015 deal, which was specifically designed to prevent the nation from developing a nuclear weapon. The West argues that Iran's nuclear advancements, particularly its enrichment of uranium, far exceed what is necessary for peaceful civilian energy purposes, a claim that Tehran vehemently denies. And this is the part that could spark fierce debate. Is triggering sanctions now a masterstroke of diplomatic pressure, or a dangerous provocation that will backfire? Tehran has already issued a stark warning, promising a harsh response if the sanctions are reinstated. These wouldn't be minor penalties. The snapback mechanism would restore severe restrictions covering Iran's entire financial and banking systems, its crucial oil and gas hydrocarbons industry, and its defense sector, effectively cutting it off from the global economy. As one Western diplomat put it, the real negotiations will start once the letter to the UN Security Council is submitted. This suggests the E3 views this action not as the end of talks, but as a dramatic opening gambit to force a more serious round of discussions. Complicating the picture further is the role of international inspectors. In a small but significant development, United Nations nuclear inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, have returned to Iran for the first time since June. Their cooperation was suspended following military strikes by Israel and the U.S. on Iranian nuclear sites. However, IAEA Chief Rafael Grossi cautioned that while his team is in the country, there is still no agreement on what they will be allowed to inspect or whether they will get access to the sensitive nuclear facilities at the heart of this dispute. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi confirmed this lack of a concrete plan to lawmakers. The E3 have reportedly laid out a potential off-ramp. They are offering to delay the snapback for up to 6 months to enable serious negotiations, but only if Iran meets 2 strict conditions. First, it must resume full, unfettered cooperation with UN inspectors. This is critical to account for Iran's large stockpile of enriched uranium, which has not been independently verified since the June attacks. Second, Iran must directly engage in talks with the United States. The scale of Iran's nuclear progress is what makes this so urgent. According to the IAEA, before the June strikes began, Iran had been enriching uranium to 60% purity. That's just a short technical step away from the 90% purity considered weapons grade. They had reportedly accumulated enough material enriched to this level that, if it were further refined, it could potentially be used in up to 6 nuclear weapons. Now, it's crucial to understand that actually constructing a deliverable bomb would take considerably more time and expertise. The IAEA itself has stated that while it can no longer guarantee that Iran's program is entirely peaceful, it has not found any credible evidence of an active coordinated nuclear weapons program. There are faint glimmers of hope for dialogue. One diplomat noted that during Tuesday's meeting, Iranian officials showed tentative signs of being ready to restart talks with the U.S., but an Iranian source attached a major and highly controversial precondition. They would only return to the table if Washington guarantees there will be no military strikes during the talks. This raises a profound question for the international community. Should the threat of force be taken off the table to achieve diplomacy, or does that simply reward aggressive behavior? So, what do you think? Is Europe's gamble a clever strategy to force a breakthrough, or a reckless act that will push Iran toward further escalation? Can diplomacy still prevail, or are we witnessing the irreversible collapse of the nuclear deal? Share your thoughts in the comments below.